What's up, everybody? It's Shanda here, and I'm bringing us our channel message for the week of June 8th, 2026. And as always, I trust that this message will find you exactly when it is supposed to find you. And the download that I got this week, Spirit was like, this is very simple. And this is about this week. Allow yourself to remain disciplined while you settle into the spotlight. That looks like staying consistent with all the behaviors and all the actions that got you to exactly where you are right now, all the disciplines, all the behaviors, and all the actions that got you to this point, that got you into this season that you prayed for. You're finally in a space where you are beginning to accept that you deserve the spotlight. You're finally in a space where you are beginning to wrap your mind around embodying the acknowledgement that you deserve the blessings and the opportunities that you're sitting in. What is also important in this moment is that you stay consistent with the disciplines that got you to exactly where you are. And this came up a couple of weeks ago, but it came back even strongly for this week is to remember that discipline is not a punishment. So, discipline means consistently choosing, consistently committing to choosing actions and behaviors that are going to allow for you to show up as your best self, as your highest self, as your most aligned self. And when we do that, when we walk into that discipline, when we walk into that consistency and commitment to those actions and those choices and those behaviors, that in itself is a declaration of devotion to the self. It is a declaration of devotion to your future self that is going to thank you. So when you wake up the next morning and you lay those clothes out or you meal prep, now you're in this space of you're being so grateful for the past you. And now you don't have to sit in resentment or guilt or self abandonment because you didn't choose, right? And Spirit wants to be very clear that there's a difference between you sitting in this discomfort of needing to just get up and do it and procrastinating versus you being genuinely physically exhausted. And it is important for you to know the difference. So pay attention to that this week as well and be real with yourself. Like, keep it a buck with yourself. Are you genuinely just kind of avoiding the discomfort of having to make the choice and getting into the action? Or are you authentically, physically exhausted? Because they are two different things. And it is important to make sure that we don't allow ourselves to talk ourselves into going, well, I'm just tired, knowing you could spend those extra 5 minutes to lay your clothes out, those extra 5 minutes to journal, those extra 5 minutes to sit in silence, to do the things you have committed to doing. You are the altar. You are the first altar. You are the first. Yeah, right. You are the first. I'm hearing act. Like, you are the first chapter. You are the first phase. So it's time to get out of the habit of serving everything outside of yourself to try to prove to yourself that you're doing a good job. It's really how you show up for yourself, the devotion that you have to your disciplines, your choices, and your habits that allow for you to stay in alignment, allow for you to stay in this shift, and ultimately will allow for you to get nice and cozy as you marinate into being in the spotlight. All right, let me see what chakra is calling for some healing for us this week as we navigate that. What you got for us, Spirit? What you got, ancestors? Oh, okay. Touche. All right. So we got the root chakra, y'all. And the root chakra is that energy center. It is that wheelhouse that goes from our feet right all the way up to the base of our spine. And the root chakra is exactly what it sounds like. It is that part of the body that holds the memories, the experiences, and the energy around our self sufficiency, right? Around our foundational needs, our habits, our self trust, our shelter, our food. So all the memories and experiences that happens in those spaces is where it sits in the body. And so this week in the root chakra, we have self-sufficiency. And our affirmations are: by finding material security without being materialistic, I will gain satisfaction, stability, and inner strength. Mm, thank you, Spirit. I am resourceful. I put in the effort to be responsible for supplying fundamental needs in my life, such as food, water, and clothing, and shelter. I take responsibility for where I now find myself in life as I move forward. I get in touch with and trust my innate wisdom, which tells me that I will be provided with all that I need. So Spirit is saying is you're getting settled into the spotlight, but you're also getting into scarcity because you're waiting for the other shoe to drop. You're waiting for something to go wrong. And the reality is you are deserving of it all working out. You are deserving of it all working out for your highest good. You are deserving of it working out. You are deserving of it working out. You are deserving for it to all work out. And so, in order to really begin to not just tell yourself that through your affirmations, but to begin to actually believe it and embody it, that we have to go in and do that root chakra healing. So, this week, Spirit is saying, right, thank you, movement, doing things that are really going to allow for you to keep your feet into the ground, things that are going to allow for you to be rooted and grounded, especially for my yogis, right? Things that are going to, movements and asanas that are going to allow for you to stay nice and connected. For my gym people, I just saw like the leg press, the Smith machine, yeah, like the squat rack, things that are going to allow for you, even when it gets heavy, even when it feels unbearable, your feet are still planted. You're still pressing that energy up and through you. hmm And then food, things that are really like filling but nutritious. And that's what Spirit is saying with that root chakra. Like, don't just give your base, your body, right? Don't just give your base anything. Give it something that it can stand on. Give it something that feels like it can use as fuel when it comes to what you're eating this week. For crystals, I'm getting tiger's eye, red jasper. hmm And then I'm also seeing amber. Things that are going to allow for you to feel smoky quartz for people who are really needing to kind of clear out some negative energy as well, to meditate with, to lay with. We in summer, so you can also take your crystals and sunbathe with them, lay outside to where you're comfortable, okay? And place them on your heart or place them on your hands and allow for yourself to get some sunbathing, healing in with your crystals. Hydrate, hydrate, hydrate is also what I'm hearing. I'm not getting anything too much for herbs. I just heard licorice root. So for some people who like to drink like licorice root tea, you want to use it in any type of like bath. I'm hearing licorice root. That's for somebody who specifically like you work with licorice root, you like the tea. This is a good time to really tap into that medicine. Mhm. All right, y'all. That's all I got for this week. All right. If you want to go a little bit deeper and connect to your ancestors, you can head over to the website. The link is in the bio and in the description below. If you feel like this resonated and you know somebody who needs to hear a message for this week, are you like, yo, check this out? This resonated with me. Feel free, right? Share, like, comment, subscribe, and share this with people who you think need to hear this as they guide and lock into their healing this week. All right, y'all. Keep going, keep growing, keep healing. Until next time, peace.